My pious husband is missing.
The baby I chose to have baptized is gone. Mr. Thompson, what's happening?
It's the rapture, Shauna. The rapture. The virtuous have gone to heaven, and the rest of us have been left below.
Time and time again, The Simpsons have proven that cartoons can predict the future with shocking precision. Over the years, most of the series' predictions have come true, from election outcomes to technological advancements.
And it seems The Simpsons just can't wait for next season to deal with Donald Trump.
As the world approaches unpredictable times, many wonder what the future holds, and The Simpsons already have an abundance of predictions for the coming year.
You know, we saved your ass in World War II.
Yeah, well, we saved your ass in World War III.
That's true.
What do they predict for the coming year, and why should you take them seriously? Join us as we reveal the shocking predictions from the most prophetic series in American cartoon history: economic collapse. The global economy has faced many ups and downs in recent years, and the United States has been hit hard.
The world is. A financial crisis in the United States or in China would, in theory, have a global effect.
In 2020, the U.S. printed $3.3 trillion.
The debate has recently been fierce in the U.S. with a lot of intense lobbying about a small tweak in some of the...
With many experts predicting a significant risk of severe inflation and eventual global financial meltdown. Right now, people are struggling with jobs and securing homes. Experts think this is just the beginning. Things will likely get worse in the coming year. Interestingly, The Simpsons might have predicted this. In a 2000 episode called Bart to the Future, the show predicted that there would be an economic collapse during a Trump presidency. While Trump isn't president now, he would be sworn in by January, making the show's predictions similar to what could happen in real life. Whether this is just a strange coincidence or something more is unclear. With the economy in a shaky state, keeping an eye on your funds is wise, since the future is uncertain. If you think that was just a coincidence, how do you explain the next prediction on our list, which shocked every Simpsons watcher? The Shard in London. The Shard is a famous skyscraper in London.
This is a unique building. It's the only building I can think of that looks like the tip of an intergalactic spear. It's something that I think is going to capture people's imagination, and loads of people are going to want to come up this thing.
It has become a popular spot for TV shows to sneak in fun scenes. But what about a cartoon predicting its existence years before it was built? That's exactly what some fans believe happened in a 1995 episode of The Simpsons. In the episode, Lisa Simpson goes on a school trip to London in a futuristic flash-forward. During her adventure, she meets a boy named Hugh Parkfield, setting the stage for a sweet international romance. But sharp-eyed viewers noticed something unusual in the background of a scene. Tower Bridge, one of London's famous landmarks, is visible, but there's also a mysterious skyscraper nearby, a shape that looks a lot like the Shard. Here's the weird part. The Shard wasn't built until 2009, 14 years after the episode aired. Was this a random coincidence, or did The Simpsons predict the future again? AI takeover. Experts have warned that artificial intelligence could take over many jobs for years. Surprisingly, The Simpsons saw it coming. In a 2012 episode called The Informant, Homer Simpson loses his career at the Springfield nuclear power plant because robots take over. Mr. Burns, the plant's owner, delivers a chilling line. Humans will train these robots, you will train them, and they will replace you. This is similar to how people today train AI tools before taking on tasks like coding, finance, and creative work. The Simpsons also predicted AI dangers in a 1994 episode, Itchy and Scratchy Land. The episode features a theme park run by robots. At first, everything is fun, but the robots become self-aware and cause chaos. While this was meant to be funny, it now feels like a warning about the risks of advanced AI. As the new year approaches, the idea of AI causing real-world problems doesn't seem nearer than ever. If you believe AI models will rebel against us one day, kindly like this video and share your thoughts before we reveal the next chilling prediction. Pandemic and murder hornets combination. One of the most surprising predictions made by The Simpsons is found in the 1993 episode Marge in Chains.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus,
coronavirus.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
This episode seemed to predict two major real-world events: the COVID-19 pandemic and the arrival of murder hornets in the United States by 2025. In the episode, a flu virus travels from Japan to Springfield after contaminated juice shipments are imported. This bears a strong similarity to how COVID-19 spread across the globe.
If this virus makes it to a weaker health system, it will create havoc. To be honest, a virus is more powerful.
Even more strangely, the episode shows a scene of chaos at a hospital where crates labeled killer bees are accidentally released by panicked citizens. Is there going to be a killer hornet outbreak in the coming year? Nobody wants to find out. World War III. Here comes one of the most unsettling predictions of The Simpsons: a new world war. With global conflicts like the war in Ukraine and the tensions between Israel, Lebanon, and Palestine, some believe the world might be nearing a major crisis. Former CIA operative Andrew Bustamante has even suggested that a global war could begin by next year. According to him, we might already be in the early stages of a new global war. Strangely, The Simpsons touched on this idea back in 1987. In a Season 2 episode titled World War I, Homer Simpson panics, yelling, "Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!"
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!
Given today's global climate, what was once a funny exaggeration now feels relevant. Black holes. Next on the list is the prediction of a black hole appearing on Earth. While scientists know black holes exist, there's still so much we don't understand. The Simpsons had their take on this in an episode where a small black hole shows up and starts sucking in objects. The more things people throw into it, the bigger it grows. Eventually, the black hole gets so massive that it consumes everything. Strangely, the people and objects inside it end up on another planet, where aliens welcome them. It's a scary thought. What if something like this happened in 2025? Scientists have already discovered a black hole near Earth. Could humanity survive such an event? Don't get scared yet, because the most terrifying predictions are still ahead. Holograms technology. The Simpsons always seems to be ahead of its time. In the episode Bart to the Future, Bart receives a hologram message inviting his band to play at a club. This scene demonstrates the everyday use of holograms for communication and entertainment. It is impressive that the show thought of using holograms this way long before they became a real possibility. Could this be another one of The Simpsons' predictions? With rapid technological advancements, it's not impossible that holograms could replace mobile phones one day. Imagine seeing a 3D projection of someone instead of texting or calling them. Will 2025 be the year this prophecy comes true? There are so many questions about how far this technology can go, and only time will tell if this vision of the future becomes a reality. Hover cars. Hover cars feel like something out of a sci-fi movie, but The Simpsons has already imagined them as part of everyday life. In one of the show's future-themed episodes, Bart and Lisa use hover cars to get around the city. Hover cars are shown as the usual way people travel, blending seamlessly into daily life. This idea isn't just fantasy. It shows scientists and engineers' technological progress. With innovators like Elon Musk working on futuristic transportation ideas, could we see hover cars by 2025?
I mean, we got to be excited about the future. We got to do things that make us want to live, you know? It cannot always be about problems every day.
While the technology is still in development, it's exciting to think about how close we might be to achieving this vision of the future. Who knows? The Simpsons might be right again. Nuclear apocalypse. This is probably the scariest of The Simpsons' predictions. A chilling prediction of a nuclear apocalypse. Yes, you heard that right. This one is both frightening and unsettling. In the episode Homer of the Great, there's a joke about a secret society planning a nuclear disaster. Another episode goes even further, showing the aftermath of a nuclear apocalypse.
I suppose that's normal background radiation, the kind you'd find in any well-maintained nuclear facility, or for that matter, playgrounds and hospitals.
It shows a scene of humanity's destruction, with Homer Simpson as the only survivor. While the show often delivers humor, this topic is profound and thought-provoking. Given the current political unrest and tensions around the world, the fear of nuclear war feels more real than ever. Could this be another one of the Simpsons' predictions coming true? Let's hope not. A nuclear war would have devastating consequences, and it's something we should all hope to avoid at any cost. Fingers crossed that this particular prophecy stays fictional. The following prediction will leave all space lovers inspired. Keep watching to find out. Training to live in space. The Simpsons also touched on humanity's dreams of exploring space and making other planets habitable. In one episode, Homer's family visits a research facility and learns about a project called Exploration Incorporated. This mission focuses on advancing human exploration of Mars by training people to live in space and eventually sending them to the Red Planet to build a settlement. This idea is not impossible when NASA and other space organizations work on similar projects. They've already developed simulations of Martian environments where astronauts train to get used to life on Mars. With all the progress in space exploration, we could soon see humans living on Mars. Settling on another planet might seem like science fiction, but thanks to these advancements, it's becoming more like a reality. Let's hope The Simpsons was right about this one. Trapped in a dome. In The Simpsons movie 2007, there's a scene where a city is trapped inside a giant dome by the government. This seems like a wild idea, but it could happen with how things are going today. The cost of living is rising, and some people think the government could use such a tactic to control how much people consume by putting them in a restricted space. If this happens, they could even cut off electricity and the internet to ensure people use less. While this idea might sound like something out of a cartoon, it's not impossible to imagine that governments could take extreme measures in the future, but whether it will happen is uncertain. The concept seems unlikely, but it's a reminder of how societal changes could make some leaders go wild. The end of the world. The Simpsons have made many predictions, including technological advances, economic problems, and political events. One of the more dramatic predictions is about the world ending. In one episode, Homer Simpson predicts the end of the world, referencing the Bible's Revelation 6 verse 13, which talks about stars falling to earth just before the rapture. Homer tells his friends and family about his expectations for the end of the world, but when the day comes, he's disappointed because nothing happens. After the world supposedly ends, Homer finds himself in heaven. This episode suggests that the world could suddenly end with no warning or sign. It's a reminder that things can change unexpectedly, and the future is always uncertain. Virtual dining. Virtual dining might sound strange, but it could become a reality in the coming year. In one Simpsons episode, Homer and Marge are shown eating through a feeding tube while wearing virtual reality headsets. This scene imagines how virtual reality could become part of daily life and warns about the dangers of using this technology too much. If virtual reality becomes a regular part of our routines, as it does for the characters, it could change how we live in big ways. For instance, people might stop enjoying meals in person as virtual experiences could take over. But this shift could lead to less real-world interaction, affecting our health, relationships, and overall well-being. While virtual reality could offer some exciting possibilities, it's important to consider how it might impact our lives positively and negatively. The next prediction, once again, will leave you in shock as it brings to light the dangers of artificial intelligence and robotics capabilities. Keep watching to find out more. Robots as librarians. Do you remember Hugh Parkfield, the English guy from The Simpsons? In the episode Lisa's Wedding, a psychic shows Lisa a view of her future, including a surprising moment involving robot librarians. Forget the traditional image of a librarian attending to people or organizing books using the Dewey Decimal System. A robot helps guide Lisa through her library visit in this futuristic vision. Fast forward to the present day, and this prediction seems to come true. Students at Aberystwyth University created a library robot prototype named Hugh 2, just like the one in the episode. This robot could take book requests, suggest recommendations, and even guide you to the right shelf. Was this a creepy coincidence, or were the Simpsons ahead of their time? With robotics evolving rapidly, robot librarians could soon become as common as their human counterparts. It seems The Simpsons didn't just predict love. They may have reimagined libraries. FIFA scandal. Homer works as a World Cup referee in one memorable episode of The Simpsons. As usual, his clumsy and clueless behavior triggered chaos on the field. Titled, "You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee," this episode entertained viewers and made two shockingly accurate predictions. The first prediction was lighthearted but surprisingly accurate. The show featured Germany winning the World Cup. A few months after the episode aired, Germany did that, defeating Argentina in the final. While the episode humorously exaggerated the score as a 10-0 blowout, the prediction was still remarkably close to reality. The second prediction was much more serious. The episode showed a referee shortage caused by widespread corruption within FIFA. Soon after, FIFA faced a massive real-life scandal involving bribery, fraud, and money laundering. Police raids on FIFA's headquarters made headlines worldwide, exposing corruption at the highest levels of the organization. What's interesting is that these weren't just random guesses. The episode cleverly blended satire with real-world trends, showing how The Simpsons have become experts at predicting major events. Whether it's lighthearted humor or serious drama, the show continues to surprise us with its uncanny ability to foresee the future, all while keeping its signature wit and charm intact. A late letter from the Beatles. Do you remember that episode from The Simpsons Season 2 where Marge showcased her artistic side, and we see Ringo's star buried under a pile of fan letters? Believe it or not, something similar happened in real life, but with Paul McCartney instead of Ringo. In 2013, McCartney responded to a letter sent by two fans in 1963. This letter had somehow resurfaced after being discovered at a car boot sale. Though it wasn't quite the mountain of fan mail from The Simpsons, it was still a beautiful moment. McCartney, ever the charming Beatle, wrote back to the fans with humor, joking that it was better late than never, and even thanked them for the groovy cassette tape they'd sent. For younger viewers, that's an old-fashioned physical music tape. While this wasn't a direct match to Ringo's Simpsons storyline, it's another funny coincidence where the show's predictions felt accurate. From sports wins to real-life scandals, The Simpsons keeps blurring the line between fiction and foresight, making us wonder if Springfield's fortune tellers are secretly working overtime. Self-driving cars of the future. Self-driving cars sound convenient, but things might not always go as planned. Let's look at a Simpsons prediction for the coming year. In an episode called The Days of the Future, a self-driving car is shown having a major glitch. It refuses to stop when the passenger asks for a restroom break. Imagine being stuck in a vehicle that won't listen. It's pretty scary, isn't it? While cars that drive themselves are already becoming a reality, there's still a long way to go before they're perfect. Over the years, The Simpsons has made many technology predictions that later came true, like smartwatches and video calls. So who knows? Maybe self-driving cars will soon become a big part of our lives. Wouldn't it be amazing to see transportation transform in such a futuristic way? At the same time, we'll need to ensure these cars are safe before trusting them. The next Simpson prediction is a technology like we've never seen before. Prepare your mind to get blown away. Baby translator. We are talking about a baby translator. Imagine a device that could translate baby talk into words adults can understand. Sounds like a dream for parents, right? In the Simpsons episode titled Lisa the Simpson, Martin Prince invents just that, a baby translator. This gadget turns baby babbles into English, letting adults finally understand what their little ones say. At first, the other characters laugh it off, but their jaws drop when they see it works. Several companies are working on baby translator models. Some are expected to hit the market by the coming year. They will rely on artificial intelligence and data analytics to understand babies' needs. It would completely change how parents care for their babies when it hits the market. Understanding what a baby needs, whether hungry, tired, or just a cuddle, would make parenting much easier. Plus, it would be incredibly fun to hear what babies are trying to say. This idea is not just entertaining. It shows how technology could one day improve communication between babies and adults, making life a little less stressful for parents. Apple Vision Pro predictions. Earlier this year, Apple launched the much-awaited Vision Pro VR headset, and a better version will be released in the coming year. It allows users to experience virtual concerts, try safaris, and more, all from the comfort of home. But here's a fun twist. The Simpsons may have seen this coming back in 2016. In an episode titled Friends and Family, Mr. Burns takes an unconventional step by hiring the Simpsons as his virtual reality family. He uses a high-tech headset that bears a striking resemblance to the Vision Pro. Of course, things turn hilarious and chaotic. Soon, Springfield is overrun with virtual reality mayhem, people bumping into curbs, stumbling into traffic, and creating a complete mess. Typical Simpsons problem: World of Tomorrow. Lisa and Marge visit the future sphere in a Simpson episode. They saw an advanced world where people no longer walk but fly. Even more disturbing, robots have taken over as rulers of humanity. Another interesting prediction was about solar-powered cars. In the episode The Paths of Glory, Lisa creates a solar-powered car to compete in the alternative energy derby, but disaster strikes when a massive Duff beer banner plane blocks the sun, leaving her car powerless. This makes her understandably frustrated, but the idea was ahead of its time. Today, solar-powered cars are no longer fiction. A few models exist. If this prediction comes true by 2025, it wouldn't be surprising to see solar cars hit the mainstream. Which of these predictions scares you the most, and why? When the K-141 Kursk submarine sank in an accident in the Barents Sea.
The K-141 Kursk nuclear submarine was sunk in an accident in the Barents Sea in 2000, killing all 118 crew members?
The entire 118 crew members died as a result of the faulty torpedo that caused the submarine to sink. According to reports, nearby ships felt a first explosion, followed by a larger one. This accident is more tragic because although ships nearby felt an explosion, the Russian Navy was unaware that such an accident had occurred. As a result, there was no search and rescue operation until after 6 hours. When the submarine was located 16 hours after the rescue operation commenced, it was already 354 feet deep, lying on the ocean floor. The crew members could not escape themselves because there was no rescue buoy, as they disabled them intentionally when they carried out a previous mission. The Russian Navy tried and failed to gain access to the submarine for 5 days. 2 days after President Putin gave the go-ahead for the nation's Navy to accept external help, divers from Britain and Norway could gain access to the submarine's 9th compartment. However, it was already late for the crew. Edward Snowden's revelations. Did you know that The Simpsons knew and predicted that the NSA's highly classified information would be leaked? The National Security Agency would have probably laughed it off when the episode Tripping on Nuts aired, where a scene revealed that a character known as NSA Guy stole highly sensitive and classified information from the NSA and ran off to Cuba. We only considered this possible when Edward Snowden did the exact thing in June 2013. Snowden, who was an NSA contractor, decided to leak top-secret documents that revealed the NSA's global surveillance program.
Edward Snowden, he's an American former CIA employee and computer technician. Today he came out as the leaker of classified NSA documents that spell out a secret surveillance program.
According to him, he did this because he became disillusioned with the government's programs. Snowden admitted that he voiced his ethical concerns about the program using internal channels. Still, the influential people refused to listen to him, so he took this approach. After this shocking revelation, Snowden sought asylum in Russia, not Cuba, where he now lives. He has Russian citizenship, which President Vladimir Putin granted in September 2022. Did Snowden get inspired by The Simpsons? Or did he act alone? This is an answer we might never know, but we do know that The Simpsons predicted video calls and smartwatches. Check out the details in the next scene. Donald Trump's presidency. People are terrified that the terrible Simpsons predictions of 2024 will come to pass, because so many such predictions have already come true. For instance, no one would have imagined that Donald Trump would become the President of the United States of America, given he was not involved in the political scene then. The Simpsons predicted in 2000 in an episode titled Bart to the Future.
16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump,
which was a homage to the 1985 science fiction film Back to the Future. When The Simpsons predicted Donald would become president, he was a businessman and reality TV star. Yet not only did the show predict he would become president, but they did so with the accuracy that he would become the 45th president, which happened on November 8, 2016. The fulfillment of this prediction surprised so many people, which made the writers of that episode say they just wrote it because of Trump's flamboyant personality. They had no idea it would happen. But we are not buying that, are we? Not when several other predictions came true. These other fulfilled predictions will shock you. The rise of video calls and smartwatches. While there might be arguments regarding this prediction, The Jetsons, which aired initially from 1962 to 1963, showed all sorts of technological advancements. Examples include video calls where characters use video phones to communicate.
Calling the Jetsons, Jetsons.
Ah, it's a phone. I'll get it.
And the use of wrist-worn communication devices that look like modern-day smartwatches. Yet recency bias makes people believe that The Simpsons predicted the use of such technology first. While The Jetsons aired last in 1985 when it was revived, The Simpsons episode titled Lisa's Wedding aired in 1995. It showed Lisa conversing with her fiancé via a video phone booth. Video calls on mobile phones are now a common thing globally. Furthermore, in 2008, the Bart Gets an Elephant episode reveals a scene where a character is wearing a wristwatch with video call features. This occurred years before Apple released the Apple Watch. These predictions look like these tech companies took inspiration from these fantastic cartoons. An entertainment company might have done the same, as you'll discover in the next chapter. Disney buying Fox. On March 20th, 2019, Disney acquired 21st Century Fox, formerly known as 20th Century Fox, for $71.3 billion. This wasn't a shock, as such acquisitions were common in the entertainment industry. However, the impact of the acquisition was massive. What shocked everyone was that The Simpsons had predicted this in an episode titled When You Dish Upon a Star in 1997. In that episode, a scene showed a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Company.
So doesn't it also mean now that Disney owns The Simpsons?
It does.
I kind of remember that The Simpsons predicted this just a couple years ago.
They predict all sorts of things. It's really, really scary. So take a look at this. This was back in 1998. They had a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division.
Now that this prediction has come to pass 22 years later, this act has reduced the number of the big Hollywood studios to just 5, which includes Disney, Sony, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Universal. Furthermore, this acquisition means that all Fox movies and shows belong to Disney. As a result, you can find them all on Disney+. The Simpsons' predictions have even been proven true regarding health matters, as you'll discover in the next scene. Ebola and COVID-19 outbreaks. The Ebola virus outbreak that lasted from 2014 to 2016 and happened primarily in West Africa was the 7th but largest of all the outbreaks of the virus since scientists discovered it in 1976. According to reports, over 28,600 people were infected, and 11,325 people died from the virus infection.
Which infected probably about 1 billion people a century ago, and the mortality of Ebola.
Something that is respiratory borne, that is a virus like influenza, likely influenza, that has both high degree of transmissibility and high degree of morbidity and mortality.
This outbreak affected 10 different countries, including the United States of America. This outbreak proved The Simpsons' 1997 prediction to be true. In an episode titled Lisa's Sacks, Marge gives Bart, who was sick, a book titled Curious George and the Ebola Virus. While this was not anything serious like the other predictions, it is worth mentioning, especially when we realize that the United States was one of the few countries affected by this virus outside of West Africa.
Today, we are providing the information that an individual traveling from Liberia has been diagnosed with Ebola in the United States.
Is another health prediction that The Simpsons got spot on. The episode Marge in Chains, which aired in 1993, had a storyline that focused on a flu outbreak that began in Asia. The flu spread quickly, and within a short period, it had become a global pandemic.
The dreaded Osaka flu has hit Springfield with over 300 cases now reported.
It sounds familiar, just like the COVID-19 virus that broke out in Wuhan, China, and Asia, right? Like there's no way you can fake this. Either the writers of The Simpsons have a time machine, or their clairvoyant gift is impeccable. So far, we've only looked at predictions that have come to pass. In the next chapter, we'll reveal predictions from The Simpsons for 2024. Trump triumphs. Again, presidential prediction. It would surprise you to know that not only did The Simpsons predict that Trump would become the 45th president of the United States of America, which turned out to be accurate, but they have also predicted that he will become president again in 2024. Donald Trump was very vocal about losing the 2020 presidential elections, claiming that the Democrats had rigged the election in their favor. Therefore, it wasn't surprising when he announced that he would run for the 2024 presidential election on November 15, 2022. When Trump made this announcement, one of The Simpsons writers, Aline, reminded the public by posting on X, formerly Twitter, that the show had predicted this would happen in 2015. In that episode, The Simpsons travel into the future, where a floating Homer passes a sign that reads, Trump 2024. When Aline posted this tweet, everyone was surprised again, as they realized this episode aired before Trump became president in 2016. Furthermore, the show even predicted that the president who would succeed Trump, in the show it was Lisa, would have to deal with a budget crunch. While a female president didn't replace Trump, according to specific reports, President Biden inherited a $3 trillion budget deficit from Trump when he became president. This revelation agrees with the famous line where Lisa revealed that she had inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. With this prediction, and the accuracy of the initial presidency, it's likely Trump will triumph again in the November 2024 election. Do you think Trump will win again? The next scene discusses another political possibility in the forthcoming presidential election. Madam President, the rise of female leadership. The Bart to the Future episode of The Simpsons predicted Trump's presidency and the rise of a female president. In that episode, Bart Simpson sees a vision of the future where Lisa was the first female president of the United States of America. This was the episode where Lisa uttered the famous budget crunch line caused by former President Trump. Why do people consider this a prediction for 2024? For starters, Kamala Harris became America's first ever female vice president on January 20th, 2021. Given that she came into power after the Trump government, some might even say that the prediction has come to pass. Yet, the potential for Kamala Harris to take the presidency is very high. Before we look into the current political landscape that might be shaping up for this to become a reality, let's look back at Lisa Simpson and draw a striking similarity that shocked everyone. In the show's episode under discussion, Lisa wore a purple jacket with a pearl necklace during her time as Madam President. Many were surprised to see Kamala Harris wearing an identical purple jacket and pearl necklace during her inauguration as Vice President. We would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed watching the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen and you will enjoy it.